Hi everybody, Tasha here from Pixie Mommy's Reborns. Welcome back to everybody new. Hello and welcome. I have baby Athena with me. To those of you new, this is little baby Athena. She is one of my silicone babies, and she is the Pearl Sculpt by Noemie Roarks at Noe Art Dolls. She was completed by Noemie as well. Baby Athena, as you can all see, she's a crier. So she's fussing right now. So she's going to get a bottle. So if you are not subscribed, run now, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to all. So let's get this baby girl fed. And I figured we would chat. I did like a little feeding of her in the last video that I did when I changed her and Ollie. And I loved the way this glass bibs bottle like looked as far as the realism in feeding her, like the way her mouth is and stuff. So I'm going to use this bottle. And I have a little reborn or silicone baby doll hack for you all. Those of you that use the KY lubricant, or I use the generic water-based lubricant to protect your silicone doll's mouth when using bottles and passies. A neat little trick is most bottles you can it's gonna sound terrible, pre-lube the nipple and put the cap back on, and it should stay with the lubricant on it for you. So this way, when you're doing a video or just so you're set up for the next time, you have, the bottle with the cap. It's, realistic, and then you open your bottle. So just a little hack. I mean, I'm sure that's something many of you probably thought of. I don't know. But I just noticed and started doing it, and it's just easier than having to worry about remembering to have that with me for a video and sitting there putting it on. I just feel like it looks more realistic. Anyway, I'm going to bring you all in, I think, on Athena for now anyway, just so you all can see her feeding. It's kind of definitely what I know I enjoy, like watching when the silicone babies get fed. It's nice to see up close. It's nice to see both ways, I think. I like to see the mommies, like, them in their arms and burping them and stuff like that, but it's also nice to see kind of the actual bottle feeding. And this just fits right in nice. And then see what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, you can totally, this sculpt, this baby herself looks so realistic for role play bottle feedings. I find her to be the most realistic doll I think that I've had as far as like what a bottle feeding looks like. I feel like I can get her looking super real. I did an Instagram reel with the Mason bottle, and like there was even someone on there saying that they're very familiar with these dolls and know all about them, and they were still fooled. She was like, I could swear at one point I saw that the baby moving, like I really had to second guess if that was a real baby or not. So I was like, wow, that's like the ultimate compliment. I mean, of course, to the artist, of course, that's the ultimate compliment. But even as the collector and the mommy of that baby, it's still a compliment because it's your baby. So, of course, you're showing them off and proud of them and, love that realism and, in the way that we handle them as well, handle them and move them around and all that, of course, lends itself to the realism, handling them like a real baby and doing, photos and videos that are realistic, handling them, and giving that kind of illusion of realism is what I'm trying to say. As I'm listening to my dog scratch at the bedroom door, like, I'm not in the bedroom, but she's trying to get into where her daddy is, and I asked him to close the door so I didn't have noise for the video, and what does he do? Locks the dog out, so she's out here scratching. Jeez, men just, they just don't think. No offense, guys, wasn't saying that in an offensive way, just a kind of silly way. All right, anyway. So I kind of did have a topic, but now it's like 6 minutes into me rambling. Last video I made, I was like, wow, it's been a hot minute, and it's been like at least a week, probably since, the last video that I made. And then I realized when I was uploading it, and I believe one of you actually commented and said, girlfriend, it's been 2 weeks. And it was 2 weeks. They just, like, I feel like I was like in a time warp, like I lost a week. Because like I knew time had went by and I knew it was, like I said, at least a week, but it was 2 weeks. And so that's why I was kind of feeling that pull and that urge that I was like, I need to make a video. I want to have some dolly time. I want to do some photos. And I get that way, when I get busy in life, I miss doing things with the dolls. I think now, since like, I guess, the new year and stuff, and this past like year or so in general, has been, I would say, a rough one for me in the hobby in a certain sense. And then it kind of is like all of a sudden you kind of get over that hump and just get to where you need to be, I guess. And a part of that is in life as well. I think COVID really threw us all for a loop. I was kind of more like isolated or confined or restricted, I guess, in a way since before COVID, because my back had gotten so bad, and then I had the spine surgery. To those of you that have been with me that long and remember all of that, so that really like hampered my ability to do a lot of the activities that I like to do, like gardening and nature photography and just being in the outdoors, very active, with my kids and the sports they were in a few years ago when they were younger, and just, like all that stuff. It really, I was very, very limited and in really, really severe chronic pain. And so this hobby became, I will back this up while I burp her so y'all can see that part of it. This hobby really became, a refuge for me. Not just an escape. Like now it's an escape. Just from the daily bump and grind, and, you know, just in general, just it's just the joy and entertainment of a hobby. Um, but at a certain, at that point during my like lowest point, I guess, in my physical health, it really, it just became so much more than that. I mean, I remember, when I first got into the hobby, and that's kind of when my back really went downhill. So not only did my back go downhill, not only did I physically decline, but mentally I was declining as well, because it's a huge adjustment to for someone that is working and active and loves to be active and loves the outdoors. Like, we're all different, right? We all have different personalities, and different people are different. So some folks are more like, okay with hanging around and watching TV and movies, and they're more, homebodies and, that sort of thing. And I'm a homebody more in a certain way, but I definitely love to be active and the outdoors and nature and animals and like all that good stuff. So it was very, very difficult for me and very, very depressing. And, my family, my children were younger. My two daughters were still, at home. So I had three young children, school age children in the house. And so not only couldn't I do so many of the things that I enjoy doing, I literally couldn't do so many of the things that I really needed to do on a daily basis. I needed help, and, just things that didn't get done, like, certain like cleaning and yard work and things. So it's like a domino effect where that really affects you when you're looking around, and you so desperately want to have things up to par the way that you normally keep them, and suddenly you can't. And every time I tried, I would push myself further and further to this point where I couldn't come back from, and I couldn't get it back to, the lesser amount of pain or whatever. So had all that, to those of you that have been following me now through that up until this point, I'm now at, feeling so much better mentally, physically. I'm still like, actually today, it's night, it's the evening. My back it wasn't a great day. It's not a great day for my back. It's just kind of very cold and damp out. I think it's supposed to rain later. I still have not so great days, but I'm still up and around, and dressed, and just, it's just better. It's just so much better than it had been. So at that really low point, when I first found the, these dolls, the reborn dolls and silicone dolls, the hobby, and right, shortly after I found that there was the whole community here, and I found, the Instagram and YouTube. By the way, there's always a link in the description below if you'd like to follow me on Instagram. I'm very active on there and posting photos of the babies in my collection. So, yeah, I got, that was very like exciting to me. And I was like, oh wow, there's other people, in the world that love dolls as much as I do and know about these dolls. And wow, look, there's people on YouTube making these role play videos, so you're entertaining one another. You don't have to feel so embarrassed about it, and like all that stuff. And it was just fantastic. So at that point, I was then watching a lot of reborn doll YouTube channels and following, reborn collectors, social media. really just immersing myself in, getting to know everyone, basically. And a lot of it was like folks that were also new to the hobby, and also starting channels. That just tends to be where new channel creators find other new channel creators, and that they kind of start their journeys together and become friends, and all of that stuff. And of course you watch what, the established channels that are there, that entertain you and that you enjoy and that you learn things from and all of that. So I was, watching the bigger channels that at the time to me looked, huge and established, and well, they were established and all that. So I did a lot of learning, and I did a lot of like, oh wow, like, seeing all these new sculpts and new artists, and like, oh, I want, I have to have this sculpt in my collection. I have to see this artist's work. I have to, it was just always like that yearning for a new baby. Like I had box opening after box opening after box opening. It was like a running joke at a certain point. I was just a revolving door of babies. I learned, buying and selling, and okay, you have to sell some to buy some, and I was doing all that. So I was very like in tune to what was going on, in the hobby, what was the latest, and all this stuff. And of course, like any community, there's controversy, and whether it was a scammer or a sale that went wrong, or simply just channel creators bickering, and just all that stuff. You just kind of like knew, I guess, when you're paying attention, and when you're watching, and when you're talking to other people in the hobby on a regular basis. And then I went through, and I'm not looking to backtrack anywhere, but you go through, you wind up down rabbit holes and all of that, and I'm guilty of that, and I've been there too, and all that. And then somewhere along the way, if you want, you come out the other side, which I have, and I'm very happy about that. I mean, I had been for quite some time, but I think once life resumed, probably I would say like last spring, when I started walking and getting out more, and then over the summer, and when I started, like I said, COVID put like it made that isolation longer and harder for me. And then finally, getting back to the physical world and seeing people in the physical world, getting out each day and socializing in that way, definitely pulls you out of it. Like, I think we all did like the very best we could, and thank goodness we all had this hobby at the time, and we could get on, Zoom or live streams or FaceTime with our friends, video chat, and you did the best that you can to share the energy in the room. And you don't have to be like, physically in the room with someone to get their energy and their vibes and all of that. And then so we all did the best that we could, and thank goodness for the internet and for one another, and for friends that have been there and supportive, and us all helping one another through. And to all the channel creators out there that put up great content that we all had to get the good vibes from, and interact with and comment and just all of it. All just good stuff for sure. And everyone is at a different place in life, so there may be, like my story and my journey and where my back went bad and all of that, like, there may be those of you out there right now that are going through what I went through a few years ago. And it's, you really, you learn to adjust your activities and you learn to do the best you can with what you can do. So if this is where you can socialize, like mainly, online, it's so wonderful that people can be connected in that way, is what I'm saying. So we're all at different, places and points. I'm very like happy and at peace with myself in that I can participate and be present in, life with my family and, those around me and for my own self. So like I will just assume if I have some extra time on my hands, I will take an extra walk and stroll through nature or go outside and take some photos or, zip up to the store and see what Marshall's got in that day or, just things like that because, I'm back to active or, any number of Lord knows projects I have around the house and things that I need to get on and get doing. So I'm always busy, busy, busy in myself, and I don't have to look for things to like more sit and do. Look at her little feet curled up. So yeah, so time could go by like that where I was like, I didn't even realize 2 whole weeks had passed. And I have like zero clue what's going on, like anywhere on any level in the hobby. Like I don't like as far as like um I don't I'm not up on the latest sculpts that are out or up and coming artists or even what's going on with the paint in the art industry and stuff like that. Like I'm just like I'm not quote here enough um to see what's going on. And there was points where like I was in touch with people that were so um I did always kind of at least know through the grapevine what was going on and now I don't. Now, it's for me a lot of that is being blissfully ignorant. It just because. But part of it I miss in not knowing the good stuff. There you go. Um feeling out of touch with the hobby in general. Um, yeah. So but I'm still filming. I'm still doing photos. I still have behind the scenes my membership here and subscriptions on Instagram and I focusing more on that stuff and while minding my own business, which is I can't say I always have done because when you're like here a lot, you see a lot. And it's a lot of times it's hard to not put your 2 cents in or not have it in the back of your head and all of that. So yeah, I like that my head is clear. I like that you know, in that respect, it's like, but I don't like feeling so out of touch, if that makes sense. But that, I'm kind of like rambling. There's not really a point to this other than just like talking and sharing some of my journey and how I got to exactly where I am today, and who knows where it will go in the future. Like I now have only one child left at home. And he's 15. So at a certain point I will be like a complete empty nester, and it's like we go through these stages and phases in life. God willing, I won't be ever back to physically or mentally incapacitated to the point in which I was, because I don't particularly think it's healthy to uh, spend that much time on your phone or looking at the TV. It's like would be like watching TV all day. Like you want to be well rounded as a human being, obviously. But if your mind is going crazy because you can't, there's only so much you can physically do, you're then looking for things to physically do, if that makes sense. So anyways, and I've been talking behind the scenes, not that I'm without my struggles or that I'm perfect or that I'm all better, and that's not the case. I struggle. I still struggle every day with certain things, and the towards the end of the winter it's gotten kind of rough for me, and I have to work at keeping from getting depressed in the winter for sure. And, and then of course life happens, and you have all that things that we can't control. And, so everybody's got stuff. Everybody's got a lot of stuff, whether you're, in tip top health or mediocre or, totally the worst you've ever been. However it is, we all have stuff. We all go through things. That's why, and I've said this from the beginning and I stand by it. Wherever you're at in the hobby, if you're new and just coming in, or any there in between, when you do interact with people here in the hobby, when you're leaving comments, when you're just interacting in general, try to be kind to one another, because you just have no idea what somebody could be going through when those cameras go off. Someone may look really well and be better than they were, like myself, but still have buka stuff going on, and depending on what day in general. And I'm not saying this for me, because I mean I really have no idea that. Oh, thank you, Lord. That ignorance is bliss. I honestly have no idea. Um, I would assume, because I've kind of been gone a little bit, or really haven't been active, so I don't know if people still talk. I don't know. I don't care. I don't. That's a good one. To be blissfully ignorant about. So I'm not talking about me. I'm not saying because I don't want to be picked on or whatever, because I don't know that anyone is. I'm talking about how y'all interact with one another. Because you just don't know. You just don't know. And we all have a story. We all have a journey. We are all human beings. So none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes. You try to learn and grow from them and move on and do your best as a human being. And even if that's just staying away from the people that you don't care for. That's still acceptable, you know, like that. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all, type of thing, and just be good to one another. That's all that I'm saying. Like, you know, after coming out the other end of it, and just like looking back and knowing all that that I've been through here, I think about that. And I think about other people and where they're at, and the fact that this is supposed to be a happy place for all of us. It truly is for me. And only you, remember this too, only you are in control of your happy place. I always say, don't look. You know, if you know especially if you specifically know there's something negative going on about you, the best thing is to don't look. The better thing is to get yourself busy to where it's just, you're not even thinking about looking because you can't remember what you had for breakfast that day. But if what I'm saying is if you can't, and you're hurting and you're stuck inside and whatever, you know, try to focus on other things and happy things. And now I'm just totally rambling because I just wanted to share some joy with you all and give back something to this hobby and community that on a whole has given so much to me, in not just the dolls, but in us all being here in general. And I mean, it's a huge hobby. It's a huge community. We don't all know one another. I mean, it's not huge as far as mainstream, but as far as like all the doll collectors and all the social media and channels, and you know, I don't know everyone. I don't think it's possible that anybody could. It is that big. And there's a place for everyone here, and that's a wonderful thing. So anyways, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed. Check out the description. There's the link for Instagram to follow me. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this very long chat. Until next time, everyone. God bless.